Hi everyone, welcome to Mentally Strong Mums. This episode, I'm going to quickly let you know I'm doing a little event for the Australian Association of Social Workers. It's on the sandwich generation. So I don't know if you have ever heard of the sandwich generation, but it's something that obviously impacts all of us as women, as mothers, potentially grandmothers, depending on what your life situation is like. The previous episode, I've been talking about social workers and how we look at things from a holistic perspective and how it influences everyone. Okay, so the sandwich generation is essentially so you picture your sandwich, right? So the mum's in the middle, like the meat, and then one piece of the sandwich will be the kids, and then the other piece of the sandwich is her mum or her parents or her in-laws, right? So then, because of the way that society has mothers as caregivers, Dr. Gabor Mate says that women are the shock absorbers of society because we are the ones that have everyone, we're the shock absorbers. We handle everything, we look after everything, we lighten the blow for everyone else so that people can be able to function normally. That's the beautiful thing, and sometimes the most difficult thing about being mum. And because we are dominated by estrogen and we have a womb means we are nurturers, and estrogen, we have that mental load. We're constantly being able to juggle everything and look after everyone, and then being the primary caregivers typically for children, and then as well as looking after our parents or our elderly parents. And then a triple decker sandwich is great or grandparents or great grandparents, right? So then we're kind of looking after all of that. And then, especially if the sandwich generation we're talking about are your parents and how they're looking after you or their grandkids and then their parents, right? So, the sandwich generation is essentially multi-generational caregiving challenges. And so, the presentation that I've been offered by the Australian Association of Social Workers is on the 11th of March. I think it's 8 or 9:30 Melbourne time and then 10:30 Brisbane time. So it only goes for about an hour. If you're a social worker yourself, it's $40 to be able to join, and then you'll be able to watch me go for about an hour to talk about the sandwich generation, how it impacts mums, how it impacts children. So when things go really good, how amazing and wonderful does that actually look like? But when things go south, but just say it's a single mum, she's got no other supports. She's working a couple of jobs just to be able to look after the kids. And then her parents are a bit older and one has dementia and it's difficult for them as well. So she's also kind of juggling and navigating that. So what does that look like in terms of finances, in terms of her supports, in terms of her autonomy? And then it turns into that burnout kind of thing. And then the impacts of attachment onto the children and then the increased roles. So all of that, and especially if this is triggering for you because this is what you're going through, even if your kids are little or they're in their teenage years or young adults, right? How can we best support our mums, our caregivers in society within this sandwich generation, right? So it's also interesting because I reflect upon the long-term psychological impacts as well as the stress biomarkers specifically for multi-generational caregivers. And in Australia, we are that individualistic society where sometimes we just kind of do everything on our own and we're not that social or we're not that family orientated. When you go to other cultures around the world, it's very inclusive. We have a thousand cousins. We have family dinners all the time. We have all of these events and we're never alone. And we never get to see a counselor because we've got all these family members to talk to and work through it with, right? So the difference between individualistic versus collective. And I've traveled around the world and it's very interesting in Australia because we are very individualistic, how difficult it is to try and make friends and to try and connect because Australians generally aren't vulnerable or forthcoming, and it can be so many different barriers to be able to do that, right? And then even if you look at different countries like Germany and Japan, how they're then supporting the sandwich generation and how amazing it would be if Australia could be able to adopt that because of the additional pressures that are put on mums to be able to have all the roles, all the hats, all the mental load, the work, the income. And then if we don't do that well, we are then disadvantaged when it comes to superannuation, right? So then how are we meant to survive when we retire if we spent the majority of our life being the shock absorbers, being there for everyone else, where we haven't had the quote unquote luxury of being able to work when we want, whenever we want, to be able to earn the income, right? So there's also going to be a cute little case study. I'd like to be able to make it fun, even though I said it can be quite difficult. It's a cute little case study, right? So if you are interested in this, I'll attach the link down below. So have a look and then register on the Australian Association of Social Workers website. Geez, that's a lot. But yeah, I'm really proud to be able to be doing it. I would love your support if possible, or if you know anyone that would be able to join to be able to support me, that would be absolutely fabulous. If you have any questions, let me know. But even after the event, if it is something that you would be interested in, let me know. Send me an email or connect with me on social media on my Instagram, and I'm happy to send you the slides too, and you can kind of go through them all. There's like 40 slides. It took me ages. But it's really important, and it's interesting for us to acknowledge, especially because of our gender, what then the responsibilities are almost put on us because of our gender, and then how our biology, in terms of our hormones, estrogen, our womb being a nurturer, kind of then feels like we're then the shock absorbers. So we never worry about ourselves, we worry about everyone else. We also hold everyone else's stuff within us. There's all these different theories when you talk to people who understand, like they call them period whisperers. We hold trauma in our wombs. And so sometimes that then leads to the somatic implications is inflammation in your reproductive system. So, understanding everything from a holistic perspective, not to be too controversial, but also understanding what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a mum, what additional pressures we have, and what's the best way to support each other through this and empower each other, and then eventually be really grateful and appreciative that I am a woman and I can be a mother and I am capable and I am resilient. And I do trust my body. I do trust my judgment. Everything's going to be okay. And I also going to find little windows of time for me. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day, and I will no doubt see you soon. Bye.